Hello students of 11th Commerce, I am Prabha and today I am going to tell you about forms of business organization. In this video, I will explain you about various forms of business organization, especially sole proprietorship and Hindu undivided family business. First, I will explain you about sole proprietorship, then Hindu undivided family business. So students, the first topic is sole proprietorship. In this topic, I will explain you about concept of forms of business organization, various forms of business organization, sole proprietorship, features of sole proprietorship, merits of sole proprietorship, limitations of sole proprietorship, expansion and growth of sole proprietorship and suitability of sole proprietorship. Students, first I am going to explain you concept of forms of business organization. All of we know that business activities cannot be performed in isolation. They have to be organized in an appropriate form. Forms of business organization denote their ownership pattern. There is a specific ownership pattern in all kinds of business organization. While starting a business, an important decision relates to the choice of the form of organization. Each of the forms has its own merits and limitations. The most appropriate form is determined by after analysis of the merits and limitation of each types of organization against one's own requirement. An understanding of various forms of business organization is necessary for doing a business effectively. The next topic is various forms of business organization. Students, there are various forms of business organization. They are as sole proprietorship, Hindu undivided family business, partnership, cooperative society and joint stock company. Let us start with sole proprietorship, the simplest form of business organization, and then move on to analyzing more complex forms of organization. Sole proprietorship, a form of business organization which is owned, managed and controlled by an individual who is the recipient of all profits and bearer of all risk is referred as sole proprietorship. It is also known as sole trader. It is the oldest and most popular form of business organization. For example, beauty parlor, running a retail shop, etc. In sole proprietorship, there is a important term which is sole proprietor. Who is sole proprietor? The person who is the owner of the sole proprietorship form of business organization is called sole proprietor. The next topic is features of sole proprietorship. Students, there are various features of sole proprietorship. They are as the first is formation and closure. Formation and closure of sole proprietorship is quite easy as it does not involve any legal formality to start it and it can easily be closed when the sole trader wants, except some cases like medicine, arms and liquor. One may require a license. There is no separate law that governs sole proprietorship. The next feature of sole proprietorship is unlimited liability. This type of business organization has unlimited liability as the owner of sole proprietorship is personally responsible for paying business debts if assets of the business are not sufficient to meet all the debts. In other words, His personal property may be sold to pay business debts in case of debts exceed the assets of the business firm. The next feature of sole proprietorship is sole risk bearer and profit recipient. Sole proprietorship business is owned by a single owner. He alone is responsible for bearing all the risk and managing the all affairs of the business. In other words, if any risk of failure of business is bear all alone by him. Similarly, if the business is successful, he receives all the profits of the business, which become a direct reward for his risk bearing. The next features of sole proprietorship is management and control. Sole proprietorship is a one-man show. It means the sole proprietor has right to run the business and take all the decisions related to operation of business independently and carry out his plan without any interference from others. The next feature of sole proprietorship is no separate legal entity. There is no distinction between the firm and the proprietor in the eyes of laws in sole proprietorship form of business organization. As a result, owner is responsible for all the activities of the business and has no separate legal entity. The next features of sole proprietorship is capital and continuity. Capital of the sole proprietorship is arranged by sole proprietor. If he invests money borrowed by others, this is treated as debts or loan. Continuity of sole proprietorship is totally depends on continuity of sole proprietor. So, in case of his death, insanity, insolvency, it may lead to closure to the business. The next topic is merits of sole proprietorship. Students, the first merits of sole proprietorship is easy formation and closure. Formation and closure of sole proprietorship is quite easy as it does not involve any legal formality to start it, and it can easily be closed when the sole trader wants. The next merits of sole proprietorship is quick decision making. There is a quick decision making in sole proprietorship as all the decisions are made by a single person, and it helps him to take advantage of market opportunities as and when they arise. The next merits of sole proprietorship is confidentiality of information. Confidentiality of information related to any business is very important for the success of a business. Sole proprietor is not bound to share information of business or to publish firm's accounts by law. The next merit of sole proprietorship is direct incentive. There is a direct relationship between efforts and rewards which encourages a sole proprietor to work hard and earn more, as he alone enjoy all the profits of the business and there is no one else to share earning of the business. The next merits of sole proprietorship is sense of accomplishment. Personal satisfaction from self-employment is called sense of accomplishment. This form of business has a high sense of accomplishment as the owner handles all the business activities. If the business is successful, the owners feel that he has done something meaningful in his life. The next merits of sole proprietorship is flexibility. It is a highly flexible form of business organization. It may be added or closed without any legal formalities or permission of anyone. This is possible because the sole proprietorship has the sole authority to do this. The next topic is limitations of sole proprietorship. There are some limitations of sole proprietorship which are as the first is limited financial resources. The financial resources of a sole proprietor is limited to his personal saving and borrowings. The funds provided by him is limited and the borrowing capacity is also quite low, as banks and other lending institutions may hesitate to extend long-term loan to a sole proprietor. The next limitation of sole proprietorship is limited life of a business concern. As we know, there is no separate legal existence of sole proprietorship form of business organization. Its owner, so sole proprietorship does not enjoy continuity of life for any reason like his death, insanity, health, etc. The business has to be closed. The next limitations of sole proprietorship is limited managerial ability. Managerial ability of the single owner is limited as he cannot possess all the qualities of a manager. He cannot enjoy professional manager. He cannot employ as a professional manager because of low volume of business which affect the working of his business. The next limitations of sole proprietorship is unlimited liability. There is unlimited liability in sole proprietorship form of business organization, as the owner of sole proprietorship is personally responsible for paying business debts if assets of the business are not sufficient to meet all the debts. The next limitations of sole proprietorship is no separate legal entity. There is no distinction between the firms and the proprietor in the eyes of law in sole proprietorship form of business organization. As a result, owner is responsible for all the activities of the business and has no separate legal entity. The next limitation of sole proprietorship is non-availability of economies of large scale. Economies resulting from large scale business operation are not available to this form of business organization as it runs on a small scale. Although sole proprietorship suffer from various shortcomings, this form of business organization is suitable for those who want to do a business on a small scale and where customers demand personalized services. According to W.R. Bassett, the author of The Organization of Modern Business, which was published in 1921, the one-man control is the best in the world if that one man is big enough to manage everything. The next topic is expansion and growth of sole proprietorship. Students, when a sole proprietorship firm expands and grows, it faces the problem of limited financial and managerial resources. The sole proprietor has two alternatives to solve this problem. The first is employ a paid assistant. For managerial or technical help, the sole proprietor may appoint one or more paid assistants if he needs them. The next is admit one or more partners. for providing finance and to share the managerial responsibility for the expanding business, the sole proprietor may admit one or more partners. If the proprietor can provide for additional capital, it means when proprietor is not suffering from lack of capital, then he may opt for paid assistant to share his managerial responsibility. However, if the proprietor requires both finance and managerial assistance, then he admits one or more partners, which is justified for these forms of business organization. The next topic is suitability of sole proprietorship forms of business organization. Students, sole proprietorship form of business organization is suitable under the following situation. The first is for a small scale business. For a small scale business which require low investment and limited managerial ability, sole proprietorship form of business organization is suitable. The next is business which require personal attention. For those business which require personal attention to customer like tailoring, repair shop, etc., sole proprietorship form is suitable. The next is for non-standardized product. For production of non-standardized product like embroidery, artistic things, etc., sole proprietorship is suitable. For skilled individuals, for those individuals who have certain skill which may be used to earn their livelihood independently, the sole proprietorship form of business organization is suitable. And the next is for meeting the local demands. For meeting the local demands of product of perishable nature, the forms of sole proprietorship is suitable. And students, now the sole proprietorship topic is completed and I am going to start the next topic, which is Hindu undivided family business. In this topic, I am going to explain you concept of Hindu undivided family business, important terms of Hindu undivided family business, systems of Hindu law, features of Hindu undivided family business, merits of Hindu undivided family business, and limitations of Hindu undivided family business. My first topic is concept of Hindu undivided family business. Students, Hindu undivided family business is also called joint Hindu family business. Hindu undivided family business is a unique form of business organization which is found only in India. It is one of the oldest form of business organization. This business involves doing business through the use of ancestral property. We can define Hindu undivided family business as a form of business organization in which the family possesses some inherited property and is owned and carried on by the members of the Hindu undivided family. It is called Hindu undivided family business. This business is managed and controlled by the eldest member of the family, who is known as Karta. This form of business is governed by Hindu law. The Hindu Succession Act 1956 under the provision of the Income Tax Act 1961. Hindu undivided family business is treated as a separate legal entity for assessing the income tax liability of the business. This entity is known as Hindu undivided family. The next topic is Important terms of Hindu undivided family business. The first is Hindu law. Hindu law is a personal law and it is applicable to members of the Hindu religion. The next is the Hindu Succession Act 1956. The Hindu Succession Act 1956 is an act of the Parliament of India which lays down a uniform and comprehensive system of inheritance and succession of property right into one act among Hindus, Buddhists, Jains and Sikhs. This act allows only male members of a family to be a co-partners. The next important term is the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005. The Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005 is an amendment of the Hindu Succession Act 1956. It was given effect from 9 September 2005. It was essentially meant for removing gender discrimination provision regarding property right in the Hindu Succession Act 1956. It was a revolutionary step in the field of Indian legislation regarding rights of women in India. The next important term is ancestral property. When a Hindu inherits property from his father, grandfather or great-grandfather, it is called ancestral property. This property is inherited by a person only because of his birth in the family. The next important term is self-acquired property. When a Hindu inherits property from any other relatives or from his personal resource, then such property is called self-acquired property. This property is not simply inherited by a person only because of his birth in the family. Next important term is Karta. According to the Hindu Succession Act 1956, the eldest male member of the family is known as Karta. But after the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, the eldest member, either male or female of a joint Hindu family, shall become Karta. The next important term is co-partners. All the members of the joint Hindu family, either male or female, have equal ownership right over the property of an ancestor. They are known as co-partners. Married daughters also have equal right in property of a joint Hindu family. The next important term is gender equality in the joint Hindu family. According to Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, the daughter of a co-partners of a joint Hindu family shall by birth become a co-partners like son. The co-partnership property shall be equally divided to all the co-partners, irrespective of their gender, either male or female. The eldest member, either male or female of joint Hindu family, shall become Karta. The next topic is systems of Hindu law. According to the Hindu Succession Act 1956, there are two systems of inheritance of ancestral property under the Hindu law. The first is Daya-Bhag system and the second is Mitakshara system. Daya-Bhag system. This system of Hindu law prevails in West Bengal only. Under this system, both male and female members of the family are allowed to be co-partners. The next is Mitakshara system. this system of Hindu law prevails all over India except West Bengal. Under this system, only the male members are allowed to be co-partners in the joint Hindu family business. After implementation of the Hindu Succession Amendment Act 2005, Mitakshara system of Hindu law is not effective. The next topic is features of Hindu undivided family business. Students, there are some specific features of Hindu undivided family business. They are as the first is easy formation. For formation of Hindu undivided family business, there should be at least 2 members in the family with inherited some ancestral property. There is no need for any agreement between the family members, as inheritance of the property based on the birth of member in this family. It is governed by the Hindu Succession Act. The next features of Hindu undivided family business is liability of Karta. That means unlimited liability of Karta. The liability of Karta is unlimited and rest of the co-partners have limited liability to the extent of their share in the co-partnery property of the business. Thus, personal property of Karta may be used to pay the debts of the business if the Hindu undivided family business is not able to pay the debts of the Hindu undivided family business. The next feature of joint Hindu family business is control by Karta. Karta is the head of the family and he is authorized to manage the business. He takes all the decisions related to Hindu undivided family business and has overall control on this business. The next features of this form of organization is status of minor as co-partners. As family members have rights in the property of Hindu undivided family business by birth in this family, so minors member of the family are also treated as co-partners. The next feature is continued existence. The existence of Hindu undivided family business is not affected by the death, insolvency, insanity of any family members, including Karta. In case of death of the Karta, the next eldest member of the family becomes the Karta. However, the Hindu undivided family business can be terminated with the mutual consent of all the family members. The next topic is merits of Hindu undivided family business. The first merit is easy formation. It is very easy to form a Hindu undivided family business as it has no legal formalities. Family members have a right in the inherited property by birth. The next merit is effective control. In Hindu undivided family business, overall control is in hand of Karta and one man decision is more effective. It also leads to prompt and flexible decision making and effective control also. The next merit is continued business existence. Hindu undivided family business has stability in existence. Death of the Karta not affected the business as the next eldest member of the family become Karta of Hindu undivided family business. The next merit is limited liability of members. Liability of all family members except Karta is limited to extent of their shares in Hindu undivided family business property. The next merits of Hindu undivided family business is increased loyalty and cooperation. As the Hindu undivided family business is run by the members of a family, there is a greater sense of loyalty towards each other. There is a direct relation between efforts and reward. So, Karta and all family members put their best effort to increase the profits and reputation of business. The next topic is limitations of Hindu undivided family business. Students, there are some limitations of Hindu undivided family business. They are as the first is limited financial resources. The Hindu undivided family business faces the problem of limited financial resources, that is capital, as it depends mainly on ancestral property. This reduces the scope for expansion of business. The Hindu undivided family business faces shortage of funds as ancestral property gets divided with the birth of every member in the family and members do not contribute additional funds. The next limitation of Hindu undivided family business is unlimited liability of Karta. In Hindu undivided family business, there is unlimited liability of Karta. This puts undue pressure on him. Sometimes this pressure becomes almost unbearable for Karta. The next limitation is dominance of Karta. Hindu undivided family business is dominated by Karta. At times, such a monopoly control is not accepted by the other family members. It may cause conflicts among them and may even lead to breakdown of the family unit. The next limitation is limited managerial ability. Managerial ability of Karta may be limited, but he often works as a dictator in the business matters. It may adversely affect the functioning of the business and may result into poor profits or even losses. The next limitation is lack of relationship between liability and reward. There is a mismatch between liability and reward in Hindu undivided family business, as Karta is managing all business affairs along with unlimited liability. However, his share in profits remains equal to other co-partners. Students, in the present scenario, the Hindu undivided family business is on the decline because of the diminishing number of Hindu undivided families in the country. And students, now I think you are able to understand about sole proprietorship and Hindu undivided family business. The remaining topic of this chapter will continue in next videos. Okay, thank you students.